Hi guys, I'm Tara from the Art and Hobby Shop here at Fort Bliss. Today we're going to be painting this lovely cherry blossom scene. Here are a list of supplies that you will need. Alright guys, we're getting ready to go ahead and start painting this lovely cherry blossom scene. We will need all the colors that I'm showing right now. We need a green, a white, a blue, black, 2 colors of yellow, and a nice brown crimson, and a bright hot pink. If you needed to purchase a kit from us, your kit would include every one of these colors, along with a paintbrush set and a foam brush. I will be showing you how to do this with everything that we would provide in our kits. So, first off, you are going to need lots of paper towels and a cup of water. So using your sponge brush, we're going to use the brown crimson and paint about 3/4, almost half of the bottom of your canvas. Don't lay it on too thick. We will have to let this dry before we can continue doing too much. Sorry for stuttering. Alright. Alright, rinse the brown off. Make sure you get your sponge good and dry again. I know with all the concerns with paper products, you can use a towel if you needed to, but I can't guarantee the paint will come out. Okay, so on the top part, we need to paint this a light blue. So just mix a little bit of your regular blue with the white, till you get almost a sky blue. So basically what we're doing right now is just giving the canvas a base color. It will definitely help out later on when we're really starting to paint. When you're done with the blue, wash your sponge off. And then get a little bit of green paint. And then here on the sides, on each side, we're just going to do a little bit of green paint. Again, this is just the base color, so whenever we do start painting, everything gets a really nice rich fullness. Okay. Let's go ahead and rinse the green off. course, dry it off completely. And then using the bright hot pink, we're going to do the same thing over on the sides. Yes, it looks like we're painting something from elementary school right now. But trust me, this is going to end up being beautiful. Again, don't put it on too thick, because we need this to dry completely before we continue. Okay. So now we're going to wait and let it dry. It's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes. You'll be able to know once you touch and it's not on your fingers. Be right back. Alright, now that the paint is dry, we're now going to start making this area look like grass and shrubs. And then eventually moving up, making the trees, etc. With the paintbrush set in our kits, these are the paint brushes that we have. I need you to pick the second largest out of the paintbrush set. You're going to load green paint in a dabbing motion into your brush. We're now going to just dab in a dabbing motion, put the green paint onto the canvas. Right now we're using just the sap green. We will have to come back and give some depth. You do not want to be even and going straight down the canvas, because we've got to make this pathway look realistic. So we will have some areas where the grass is kind of coming out towards the path. We're going to do both sides. Again, continue keeping that dabbing motion. Alright, so we need to give the grass and the bushy areas a little bit of depth. So what I need you to do is add a little bit of black to some green and make it a really, really, really rich, dark green. You don't want this paint to be extremely wet when you're putting this onto the canvas. So we're going to kind of dab it off over here to the side so it's not real thick. You're not going to put this all over the green, but in just periodic places on the canvas. Again, in a dabbing motion. Now slightly use your brush to blend the colors in. Come over and do the same thing on the other side. And then just lightly blend it in. Alright, go ahead and rinse your brush off really well, because now that we've got the low lights, we need to put some highlights. Okay, once you got your brush good and clean, add a little bit of white to green, and then a little bit of that mustard yellow. Maybe a little bit more yellow. Okay. Again, you don't want this brush to be loaded with too much of the acrylic paint, because we need this to be actually really light. So with the highlights, it's just going to be in very small amount. This is more of a brush, a really quick brush technique, where I'm going in a quick downward motion. Alright, so we got the grass pretty well blended. We will come back and do a little bit more manicuring to it. But now I'm wanting to put some pretty little bushes right in this area. So rinse your brush off, and then using the green mixed with the mustard yellow. Dab in motion, just like we've done before. Okay, we need to give some highlights and lowlights, so I'm just going to use a little bit of the regular green. And then, using the brush without even rinsing it off, put a little bit of white. Again, a very small amount. And just kind of go over the very tops of your little bush. Alright guys, so we gotta let this dry. Again, takes about 5-10 minutes, and then we'll continue more. Be right back. Alright, once everything is good and dry, we need to make our trees. Grab your the smallest brush, and load it up with black paint in a upward motion. One long stroke, go up. The trees do not need to be straight. You can have them curve. And you definitely want to make them different sizes. Some big, some small. First, go back in and try to fill in some of the bark. Alright, in the background, I'm going to mix a little bit of black and white to make gray, and make really tiny tree trunks in the background. Then I will mix in a little bit of black. because this is going to give an illusion that the trees are really far back in the background. Okay, with the tree trunks, we need to give them a little bit of a bark look. So we're going to add a little bit of white over to the sides. Try doing it on the right side of the tree trunks. And it just gives the illusion of it having a little bit of bark. Okay, go back with some black. And we want to have some limbs going out in different directions. Now mind you, a lot of this is going to be covered up in just a few minutes when we start making our cherry blossoms. But we just want a little bit of this black to show through. Alright, again, we've got to let this dry. So wait again for another 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will start making our cherry blossoms. Be right back. Alright, now that everything is dry enough, we're going to go back to using the second largest brush and using nothing but the bright hot pink. And in a dabbing motion, just like we did with the grass and the little bushes, we're going to be forming part of the cherry blossoms. Now we are going to have to do this all over. This part does not necessarily have to be extremely dry. This is definitely one of my favorite parts about springtime, is the cherry blossom trees. After you have covered everything in that bright hot pink, now we need to go in and do low lights and highlights. To achieve the low lights, you need to take black, a little bit of black with your pink, the hot pink, using the same brush that we were using just for the hot pink. And load your brush pretty well. And in random places, we're going to put some low lights in. And come back in and blend it in just a little bit with the light brush strokes, very light. Okay, go ahead and rinse that brush off. Go into the third largest brush. We're going to put in some highlights. So we're going to use just white paint with a little bit of the hot pink. Until we have a really pretty little baby pink. This is actually going to go towards the bottom. Of where you think the branches are kind of hanging down with the cherry blossoms. Again, this is kind of random. You want to put it in random places. This is going to give an effect of light bouncing back up onto the cherry blossoms. Again, you will want to do this throughout the painting. course, if you get it a little bit too thick like I did right there, just go back in and try to blend it in a little bit. To give the effect of this all being cherry blossoms, it's just about layering. With the pinks, the lowlights, the highlights. So you'll continue the steps. Now I'm going to go back with some of just the hot pink. And put some here and there. And it helps blend it along the way. Alright, go ahead and let that brush rest in water. With your largest brush, I need you to load it up with some the light pink and add more white to it. Now we're going to take a paper towel and we're going to dab it till it's a little bit dry. Now we're going to go in and on top of the branches. Oops. Dry it off again. Maybe do a little bit down here on the bottoms. Alright, I think I'm pretty happy with the way the cherry blossoms are looking right now, so we'll stop there. Okay, go ahead and let that brush rest in water. Your second to the smallest brush, need you to go ahead and use some of that brown crimson and mix it with a little bit of white and a little bit of this mustard yellow. So white, mustard yellow, and that crimson. And we're going to make almost a really, really light caramel color. In a motion left to right, we're just going to paint kind of the path. So we're going to create illusion of shadows and depth by using several layers of paint. To make the shadows, we're going to use the brown crimson, going from the sides of the grass going towards the path. Excuse me. There's just something so soothing about painting. I could do this all day long. Okay, using a little bit of that mauve again, we're just going to kind of blend it all together with a left or right motion. And it's okay if this goes onto the green a little bit, because we are going to go back in and fill in the bushes just a little bit more. Now with a little bit of pink, yes, I said pink, the baby light pink, we're going to give just a little bit of baby pink. Okay, and then I'm just going to take white with a very dry brush and then create more where the light is going to show on this path. Alright, now we need to go back and find that second to the largest brush. And dry it off really good. And we're going to go back to green mixed with a little bit of black to make it kind of dark. And we're we're just going to kind of fill in where our bushes need to be. Or the grass lawn. You need to go on top of your tree trunks just a little bit. Now I'm going to go and make a light green with just the yellow, the mustard yellow, and the sap green. I'm just going to highlight some of the areas a little bit here by the trail. Go ahead and do some around the tree lawns too. Okay, now with that bright fluorescent yellow, don't clean off your brush, but dab some of that onto a brush and use some just to brighten some of this area up. Put some here and there. Once you have created the depth and all the cherry blossoms and the highlights and the lowlights, the next step is to make some little people walking in here. To do that, use your smallest brush. And if you want to, you can just think of making a little stick man. So the head, body, but instead of giving two little legs, just go down a little bit. And then do another little person. And maybe let them hold hands. Make this lady. There we go. And you got to give them shadows. So with that paintbrush, just make some gray by adding some white, and then dot it off pretty well. Alright, so thanks for joining in. hopefully we can continue to do this and keep creating. Bye, guys.